My name is Lee Lefevre, and I am a co-founder of Common Craft. We've known for making explainer videos since 2007. I'm also the author of The Art of Explanation. And we're here to talk about readable videos and a method that I developed that makes animated videos easier to produce. We'll have a quick agenda today. We're going to talk about normal animated videos and why they're hard to produce. And I'll show you an example of the readable video method. Like, what is the method that we use to create these videos? We'll look at a few examples and use cases so that you can hopefully feel inspired. And then we'll head over to the Explainer Academy website and take a look at the courses. So normal animated videos, I've been making animated videos since 2007, and I know the pain. I know how it feels to make the videos, and it's a lot. It's hard for people to get started because it seems intimidating. And the thing is that they are powerful and effective. I believe in the power of normal animated videos with a voiceover. They're creative and engaging, and the combination of audio and video really does something great. However, producing them is difficult and time consuming. So let's take a look at why that's the case. So most videos, as you know, start with a script. It's the idea, it's what you're going to talk about, and then you quickly move into a voiceover. Now, this is where things get complicated because you need equipment like a microphone. You need to be able to perform the voiceover and feel comfortable hearing your own voice. And that's a barrier for a lot of people. Also, if you're making a normal anime video, you need to understand how to do the animations, how to animate things on the screen. That often requires complicated and expensive software. And then it gets really complicated when it's time to match the visuals to the audio that you recorded in the voiceover. And that's where animated videos really work the best, when they match up really well. And that's a skill that takes time to develop and also can require complicated and expensive software. And for a lot of people who are not professionals in video, it's too much. It's too much to even try, and it might feel intimidating. And I feel like it's kind of painful myself. At the same time, when a video depends on voiceover, depends on audio, you have to be able to consume it that way. There are subtitles and closed captioning, but to experience it the way it was designed, you need speakers. You need to be able to hear what's going on your computer or phone, or you can use headphones or earbuds. So there again, you can't necessarily watch a normal animated video with a voiceover on a bus in a library without special equipment like headphones. So we looked at this process and said, this is complicated. This is not something that's easy for everyone. Where is the complication, and how do we remove that complication? How do we make it easy? And so that meant thinking, what if we just took out the voiceover? No voiceover involved. What if we simplified the idea of animating without using any expensive or complicated software? And then we don't have to think about the complicated editing and matching audio and video. So what that leaves us with is the idea or script. And what we discovered is that presentation software like Keynote or PowerPoint is actually an amazing platform for creating simple animated videos. So we started to think that, what if PowerPoint or Keynote could do everything, could do every part of the animated video process? And we experimented, we tested, and we discovered that indeed it is possible. And it's not that hard to do. And that's what we're really talking about today, because the production method creates something that is a different kind of video because it has no voiceover. And I'm going to show you a really simple production method here. This is really, you can make readable videos based on what I'm going to show you right now. And we'll talk about why you might want to keep learning about that. So here's the case where we have a script and we have PowerPoint or Keynote, and we go to the presentation and say, okay, the first slide, I want to have a cloud. Second slide, I want a talk bubble. Third slide, I want to have a sun. Fourth slide, I want to have a moon. So now we've got 4 slides in presentation software, and if we go through them one after the other, we see them in order. And so now we go back to the top, and then we use a screen recorder. Now, this is something either built in to PowerPoint or Keynote or built into your operating system. It's free to do this. So you turn on the screen recorder, so it's recording what's on the screen, and then you simply step through the slides. And then when you're done, you tell the screen recorder to stop, and then it says save as video, and the PowerPoint or Keynote spits out a video file of what you just recorded within those slides. Now, that's it. That's the big idea of how to do this. And the key here, what makes it so efficient, is that because you're designing the video in slides, you're doing the editing in PowerPoint or Keynote. And that means once you're able to record the video, you've already done all the planning, you've done all the editing, you know how it's going to work, so that when you make a video, it's done. You're done. You can publish that video. You might trim the ends a little bit, but that's really the magic of Readable videos, is that PowerPoint is the editor. It's the platform. And that makes it a lot easier. So what we're talking about is a much more efficient animated video production process. I mean, it can be done in hours, not days. It's using a single tool you probably already have, like PowerPoint or Keynote. You're not going to have to think about complicated editing aside from doing a little trimming. And like I said, instead of videos taking days or weeks, these videos take hours, especially once you get the process down, once you get the design down, you can knock them out quite quickly. So, this is also an alternative to normal videos, not just videos that are animated, but we've all seen talking head videos and lots of other videos online. And a lot of times they're too long, they kind of drone on forever. They're disorganized. Maybe the person didn't really plan out the message and they're just speaking off the top of their head. Maybe there's no clear message or theme. They're not very engaging, and maybe there's technical problems. This is what we see on YouTube a lot, right? And so I think Readable videos are actually an answer to this as well, because what we're talking about is taking these and doing the opposite, like thinking about them differently. And so instead of them being too long, Readable videos are brief. They're like a minute long, 2 minutes long, whatever you need, but something brief, right? And they're organized. Like, they are successful because you do the planning ahead of time. You know what the product is going to be like by the time you're recording it. It's clear, right? I think that using explanation skills in this context is really great to be able to make sure that you are actually solving a problem. And they're captivating because we're using animations in a way, that creates this dynamic experience for the viewer. And that's what keeps them engaged, keeps them going. And we'll see examples of that in a little while. And because they're digital, we don't have to think about technical problems. So this is really it. This is our goals with Readable videos. We want them to be brief, organized, clear, captivating, and digital. So keep these ideas in your mind when you're thinking about what your video should be. I think these are great guidelines. So let's take a minute to talk about some use cases. Like, how do you use these videos? Like, where are they best in my world, in my work? And I think that the big idea here is they're great for solving a specific problem, right? Someone or an audience or a class just needs to understand this idea, and text on a piece of paper doesn't work. Just discussion maybe doesn't work, but something visual is what you need. So solving a specific problem. This can include explaining a specific idea or process, and we'll look at some examples of that. Readable videos are great when speed and efficiency are priorities. If you need a video for a meeting tomorrow, or a class assignment tonight, or whatever it is, once you get this process down, these videos can come together really quickly. And they can be an alternative to a worksheet or specific instructions. They can bring data, information, and processes to life because they're animated and engaging. I like to think of them as a utility. It's a tool that Once you have the know-how that you can plug into all kinds of situations and not have to think about all the technical problems and issues that you would with a normal video. Again, make them in hours. And this is not about art. It's not about high design. These videos may not win design awards, and that's okay because they're efficient and they're powerful and they solve problems. That's really what we're focused on with readable videos. So I want to show you a few examples through, I've been making readable videos since 2020. In fact, this first one that we're going to look at is a video that I made, a readable video I made when COVID was just starting to get started. And we were all learning about social distancing. And so this is the little video explainer about that. We'll see objects moving, text animating, and this is about why social distancing matters. So I'm not going to speak so that you can experience this as a readable video. Keep in mind that I recommend using a little bit of background music in these videos that I don't have present now. That gives the reader this feeling that things are working correctly, because when something is silent, it can be a little bit confusing. All right. So that's just a little snippet from that video, but I think you get the idea there. We're using fairly sophisticated animating techniques along with animating text. Now, in a totally different context, we can use readable videos to annotate photos. So could be the details to notice. Think about this for a class assignment or an educational video. And so we'll start with thinking about teaching students or someone about sea lions. And we'll start with a question. Right, another quick example there. Now, you can also think about maybe being working in a company and needing to teach someone how to use a tool or a feature. You're creating a step-by-step guide that walks them through something. So this is a very simple version of that in terms of how to print an online document. So aside from this specific example, think about using this kind of video for any kind of step-by-step process. Right. So that's the process. That's the process. Of course, charts and graphs. Easy, very useful way to think about a video. Instead of sending someone a piece of paper, you can bring that information to life. So, quick example here for a pie chart. Think about this, maybe company communication, policies, pitches. All right. Not sure what this business, what the what the business is that they're talking about, but another example there. A quick example with a line chart. Something to notice here is that we have two zones. This is something we teach in the course. Is we have the sort of animation data zone as well as notes, because when you're maybe sharing something like a chart, you want to have the visual of the trend as well as some commentary. So you'll see just a really basic example here. All right, so enough, I think, for you to get a feel for the idea here. Now we're going to look at a big idea that it all happens in a single slide of PowerPoint or Keynote. It's using some fairly sophisticated animation ideas, but I think you'll see kind of how this works. This is like one subject in a succinct animation. Again, teaching and training as an example here. So the water cycle, right? There's obviously lots of visuals that we can use, but this really brings it to life. I'll show you what I mean. All right. So I think that you're probably not going to find a more succinct way to learn about the water cycle. So in summary of this part of the presentation is The opportunities are endless. These are just a few examples of so many that you could use, that you could bring into your work life. Making them work really does require a bit of practice and experimentation, but it's very flexible. I mean, we're just getting started understanding all the things you could do. And I hope that you'll consider your use cases. Like, what does your audience need? What do the people around you need? What is needed in your workplace? So, I just shared the method a little while ago, and you might be thinking, well, if I understand that, why do I need a course? Like, why would I, why would I need more information than that? And I'm going to answer that question. I think that a big part of it is really understanding the best practices. Like, the method is one thing, but how to do it well, how to do it right is really important. And I mean that because there are guidelines and best practices that come from fields like graphic design for readability and accessibility. And that extends from what fonts to use, how to think about color and contrast, and then how to animate text, how to animate shapes in a way that feels comfortable and that feels useful to people, and importantly, accessible. It takes a bit of know-how to understand how to use PowerPoint or Keynote as a video production platform. Because once you start to see it that way and understand the features involved, you'll see that it's kind of this amazing combination of drawing tools, of onboard libraries of icons, images, and other assets, and animations. Like, I don't know of any other tool that combines those things that is also very, very common. And like I said, I've been making these videos for 3 years. I did a lot of research and tested and experimented with this method, and I think I've come up with a number of really valuable approaches that makes this process easy. And I've shared everything I know, and it's something that will make your journey much shorter and become something that has not only problem solving and usefulness, but also some professional polish. We talk about design and making sure the video is captivating and useful and can reflect your brand, yourself, your colors, all those things in a way that, again, continues to remain accessible. So now we're going to head into our course tour, take a look at the actual website. The course has over 5 hours of video instruction with me stepping through every part of the process, over 40 videos. And I include downloadable documents and guides, which we'll see on the tour, along with quizzes for testing your knowledge. And the course is divided into three big sections. And the first is an important asset is really the planning part, right? Like, thinking about the big idea, understand, like, being inspired by what's already out there, what's already been done, developing your creative direction, thinking about a style guide, for instance, and then planning your video in a storyboard, understanding how it's going to flow. And then we get into designing the video, actually using the PowerPoint and Keynote slides to make the video come to life in a way that flows across slides, that feels natural and contiguous. And then once we have that all done, then we can produce the video, record the screen, do some cleanup at the end, and then you're done. So that is what we cover in the course. So now I'm going to a little bit of a GIF here, switch over to the web page, and I will go to, now I'm now at explaineracademy.com, and I'm logged in as an enrollee, just like you would be. And I've got two courses here. So there are two courses. One is a free course. Okay, I need to do a little bit of a change here. 1 second, I'm realizing that I'm not actually sharing what I wanted to share. So I believe that should do it here. Okay, now I believe we are set. Sorry about that. My producer here was quick on her feet to let me know what was going on. So now we're looking at the two courses here. One is our comprehensive course, which is everything that we offer. And then we have a free course, which has the first two chapters of the comprehensive course. And I'm going to just go into the free course here and talk about a couple of things. You can register for the free course. I think it's a great way to get started. You'll see there's the 2 chapters and then a referral program here. So um, in this referral program, if you're a current member of the Explainer Academy, then you can grab a link that is unique to you and share it to whomever you want, friends, colleagues, put it on um, online anywhere you want. And if someone uses that link to purchase the comprehensive course, they get 30%. So you're offering them a 30% discount, and then you will get 30% off a coupon code. You'll get a coupon code for 30% off for your purchase. So it's a great way to kind of get the word out, get people engaged, and also save on your enrollment. So once you're logged in, there's a profile picture here on the upper right. When I click that, there's a refer a friend link here. So you can go there to see if anyone has purchased the course. You can also grab the link there. I'll follow up with email with more details about that. But I wanted to quickly cover that. So now we are in the comprehensive course. So you can see all the chapters here. Each chapter has some indication of how long they are in terms of video length. And here at the start, I want to show you just a couple of things that I think are helpful. You see a video here called Using the Video Player. So the video player does some things you might not expect. So I'm going to quick play here so you can see me here. And then on the bottom right is a pencil in a box, and that's called personal notes. So when you click that, then you can add your own personal comments to this video that you can refer back to later. The comments are not visible to anyone but you, but it means that you can annotate each video and capture the ideas that you want to take with you and refer back to them. So a useful feature to use. Number 2 is that you can see that I am about 19 seconds into this video. And so now I will go into another chapter. Let's say I'm down in the course, and then I'm going to then go back to where I was. And let's see, go back here. And then when I click play, the video player will remember where I left off. So it'll start at about 15 seconds or so. So I'll click play here. So you can see here about 17 seconds. So the video player is smart in that way. And of course, we have closed captioning as well. So let's look at some content here. One of the things that we cover is explanation skills, planning for clarity, and thinking about ways and tools that you can use to be more clear. Lots of examples here, but what I want to show you is along with each of these, I've provided downloadable files that are PDFs that come from the Explainer Academy. They're things we use to teach explanation skills. You can download them and take them with you. Now, I mentioned that best practices is a big deal. And this is really the heart of the course, is videos that teach things that show you examples and inspiration. We talk about something called kinetic typography, which is from graphic design, that really gives us principles to work from. And of course, that includes animation. And then we have a lot of information about accessibility, because we want readable videos to be useful for as many people as possible. So we think about visual impairments, blindness, and how to make these videos with that in mind. And then again, there's more downloads here. Now, so anytime that I'm using PowerPoint to create something or to manipulate something, I saved that presentation that I worked on and provided it as a download that you can use, refer back to, see the settings I used, see what I created. And I hope that that is a useful part of your experience, is being able to get these PowerPoint and Keynote sections or presentations working for you as well. Another big part here is animating text, right? It's a readable video. How we animate text really matters. And that means thinking about this idea of guiding the reader. And we take its inspiration from karaoke. If you've ever used karaoke and how the words change colors as you go. And again, more of these downloadable presentations that show the settings I used, along with quizzes. Almost every chapter has quizzes. And lastly, there's comments. I really hope that you will add comments if something seems unclear, you have feedback, ideas, anything. I'm happy to respond. I will be notified, and I'd love for you to do that. And towards the end, this is the longest video in the course. It's 50 minutes. But what I've done is created a readable video from scratch. So all the way from idea generation to producing the video, you'll see me go through the entire process, make a few mistakes, learn as I go. And I think that if there's one thing to watch that is going to be able to sum everything up, that's probably a good place to go. And again, the PowerPoint presentation is there for you to download. So that's a quick tour of the course. There's so much more in there. I think you'll be surprised at how much there is to know and learn about Readable videos. So I am going to quickly return here to my, let's see here, just one second. To my screen here. All right, I believe that you should be seeing just me now. And I think we'll finish up here. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. I'm so thankful for you coming and spending a little bit of time with me today. I'm really excited about this idea, and I think that once you get in there, start making these videos, it'll be something that's going to improve your communication life. I think it can be a part of your communication toolkit. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me at lee@commoncraft.com. So that's what I have for now. I don't know if I'm not seeing any questions right now in the chat. I don't know if there's anyone else that has anything else, but for now, I think we will stop here. Thank you again so much for coming, and hopefully I will see you inside the course. Bye. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, so yeah, Amy asked, how do we get to the screen to access the course? That's a good question, Amy. So I will drop a link into the chat here that should be the right thing if I typed it correctly, but you can always go to readablevideos.com to learn more. That would have been a valuable call to action for me to share. So readablevideos.com is the best URL for it. It actually redirects to the Explainer Academy website. You can always go to explaineracademy.com to find both of those options. So with that, I think that we're all set. I hope you'll check it out, and I will see you in the course. Bye.